The red paw, a symbol of conservation that has stood the test of time. This cheetah spoor traces its humble beginnings back to 1973, when a limited number of watercolor paintings of cheetah were sold to raise funds to save this endangered species. But it wasn't just the cheetah that artist and activist Clive Walker wanted to safeguard. Partnering with Neville Anderson and James Clark, the Endangered Wildlife Trust was founded, with the ambitious goal of protecting forever together. 50 years on and the cheetah spoor continues to tread this earth, blazing a trail across the continent and becoming the powerful symbol of a conservation icon that saves species, conserves habitats, and benefits people. This is our story. With the first EWT projects focusing on cheetah and brown hyena, at the same time in the Magaliesburg, John Ledger and Peter Mundy were forming the Vulture Study Group, focusing on vulture research and conservation. The VSG was brought into the EWT with Dr. Ledger being appointed an EWT trustee to oversee its work. Later it was merged with the EWT Raptor Conservation Group to form the EWT's Birds of Prey program. In 1975 we created the EWT Ladies Committee, drawing attention to the challenges African women face and the empowerment opportunities that existed. In 1980, we became conservation frontrunners in Africa by joining Operation Rhino to fund the transport of the first 8 black rhino from the Glughluwe Game Reserve to the Kruger National Park as part of a national effort to save the species from extinction. 1982 saw the initiation of our work with communities when we started a conservation network of auxiliary game guards among the Damara people in Namibia, to aid in anti-poaching efforts and embrace communities as our allies in conservation. 3 years later, we relocated 43 yellow-billed oxpeckers from the Caprivi in Namibia to Glughluwe Game Reserve where they had been extinct for 80 years, thus reintroducing a species critical for the health of this park and its threatened wildlife. Our third decade kicked off with the formalization of what was to become a long-standing partnership with the International Crane Foundation. The partnership resulted in many successful projects across Africa, including the African Wattled Crane Program, which now operates in 11 countries with projects in Rwanda, Uganda, Zambia, Kenya, and South Africa. Fast forward to 1994 when the Forum Natureza em Perigo was registered in Mozambique to provide oversight to projects on Bazaruto Island and in the Maputo Elephant Reserve, as well as rehabilitating the Maputo Zoo. Our work in Bazaruto included the Dugong Emergency Protection Project and the purchase of 2 patrol boats almost a decade later for the Bazaruto Archipelago National Park to address dugong entanglement in illegal fishing nets. During the 90s, we established a number of programs we still run today, including the Carnivore Conservation Program and the Wildlife and Energy Program, founded in 1996 as a strategic partnership with Eskom to address the impact of electrical infrastructure on wildlife. Through innovative techniques and adaptive management, South Africa is now a world leader in managing the impacts of electrical infrastructure on species such as vultures, cranes, flamingos, and bustards. Towards the end of the decade, we supported the Makuleke community to become conservation custodians after their successful land claim inside the Kruger National Park. Thereafter, we expanded this work through the Conservation Leadership Group to entice aspiring conservationists from local communities through innovative high-impact mentorship, training and education programs, and to mobilize these future conservation leaders through exposure to experiential training and employment opportunities. Through the Eco Warrior program, we then took conservation into the classrooms. In partnership with Airports Company South Africa, we kickstarted the Airport Wildlife Program's AXA EWT Bird Strike Partnership in 2000. Through the deployment of border collies at OR Tambo International Airport and the erstwhile Louis Botha Airport in Durban, we helped prevent bird strikes. This was part of a range of activities that saved wildlife and ensured aircraft and passenger safety. During the EWT's fourth decade, we launched our Livestock Guardian Dog project, where dogs were placed with farm owners to protect livestock from predators. Since its inception, we have placed 238 guard dogs with over 200 commercial and community farmers throughout South Africa, dramatically reducing the level of predation and human-wildlife conflict. In 2010, we initiated the Wildlife Roadkill Research and Mitigation Project to investigate the threat of wildlife roadkill to biodiversity and to wild animals crossing roads, as well as driver safety, marking the start of a decade of work to reduce both of these threats. In 2011, we participated in the government's Groen Sebenza internship program, taking in 12 future conservationists and employing 5 at the end of the initiative. The rediscovery of the critically endangered Amatola toad in Hogsback in the Eastern Cape after a 13-year absence was a significant conservation milestone in 2011, achieved by our Threatened Amphibian program. This program made us the first conservation NGO in South Africa with a dedicated focus on frog conservation, which went on to support the conservation of the Picker's Gills reed frog, the kloof frog, the Table Mountain ghost frog, and a range of other endangered frogs, and their habitats. Our Conservation Planning and Science Unit, active since 2010, plays a crucial role in ensuring all our conservation-related decisions are science-based and ethically tested, that EWT data are accessible, and that our results are published in dozens of scientific publications annually. In 2012, we established the National Cheetah Metapopulation Project, which went on to reintroduce cheetah back into the Free State and introduce a founder population to Liwonde National Park in Malawi. Our goal is to restore populations of this vulnerable species, our brand ambassador, into areas where they once thrived. Today, after 50 years of the EWT's cheetah conservation, South Africa is the only country in the world with an increasing cheetah population. We have been actively involved in addressing the resurgence of rhino poaching in South Africa since 2008 with the implementation of the first rhino horn detecting dogs at OR Tambo International Airport and running projects to enhance capacity in private and state-owned protected areas, the SAPs, NPA, and for customs officials. Today, our conservation canines play a vital role in the protection of a wide range of threatened and traded wildlife. In 2015, we began restoring degraded habitat for the critically endangered riverine rabbit. 4 years later, we confirmed the presence of a new population of riverine rabbits on the western side of the Baviaanskloof, representing a completely new area of occurrence for the species. As we focused on saving less charismatic species, we partnered with the Rainforest Trust, confirming the continued existence of the diminutive Albany adder, which is among the rarest snake species on the planet. We kickstarted work to stem the illegal trade of the sun gazer lizard and initiated work to prevent the extinction of a number of cycads being driven to the brink by illegal wildlife trade. That same year, we joined the Car Foundation and Gorongosa scientists for the first international reintroduction of wild dogs into Mozambique. With another pack introduced in 2019, today Gorongosa National Park boasts a population of over 135 wild dogs. Looking to the future, the first biodiversity stewardship sites in Gauteng, Klipkraal Protected Environment, Devon Protected Environment, and Klipkraal Nature Reserve were declared as formal protected areas covering an area of 2,140 hectares. In 2018, we embarked on a long-term project to establish the Soutpansberg Protected Area with our first formal ownership of conservation land. With a donation from the Roberts Family Trust, we bought the Madiki Game Reserve, later purchasing an additional 1,400 hectares to conserve over 1,800 species in a biodiversity haven that also boasts a rich cultural heritage. In 2019, the EWT's Conservation Campus in Midrand became our permanent headquarters. The campus serves as our head office, offers staff overnight accommodation, houses our Conservation Canine Unit, and features a wetland currently undergoing restoration. The gardens showcase some of South Africa's most threatened ecosystems, including the Cape floral biome, high-veld grasslands and the succulent karoo. Additionally, we are collaborating with traditional healers to create a medicinal plant garden. Shortly after being registered as the first NGO to commercially operate drones in South Africa in 2021, we assisted the University of Pretoria Mammal Research Institute with drone support for the first ever aerial photography of southern right whales. In the same year, we proudly declared the first vulture safe zone in the Karoo that spans 23,000 square kilometers to conserve these highly threatened birds of prey and to encourage the Cape vultures to return to their original ranges across the Great Karoo. In our 50th year, we opened the world's first dedicated wild dog holding facility to keep dogs in quarantine ahead of their moves to new regions as part of the Wild Dog Range Expansion Project. Our researchers joined SANBI and the Bay World Museum in rediscovering the rare orange sandfelt lizard during surveys in December 2022. In 2023, we published a landmark report in collaboration with the Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa on the state of provincial reserves in SA. We launched the first ever Vulture Ambulance, a unique mobile emergency response unit designed to save poisoned vultures from mass poisoning events. Our year of celebration ended on a high note with the rediscovery of another species thought to be extinct. Using environmental DNA, the De Winton's golden mole, which is ranked 11th as the world's most wanted lost species, was rediscovered on the west coast of South Africa by a team from the EWT and the University of Pretoria. This is our story. A history rich in passion, innovation and dedication. But our story doesn't end here. May we all ensure the continued legacy of the Red Spoor in our timeless campaign of protecting forever together.